I'm only a minute late. I'm okay. Coming out of me, no less. Wow. Good morning. Good afternoon. I think we're moving. You can hear me? We good? How's it going? How's Tricks? What's up? Life be lifin'? Oops, I forgot something. Be right back. Okay, here we go. Hello. I saw a big chat somewhere. Let me go find it again. Aha. Good morning. Existence is yes. Hello. Good morning. Let's see what we got. I don't really know how to divine from dice yet. I just like the higher numbers, so I'm feeling pretty good. Almost a full house. I wonder. Yep, there. Nope, not quite, but that's fine. Two of a kind's got to count for something, right? We'll go with it. Hello. How's it going? How was the week? I was going to ask specifically how the other day was personally with the Mars conjunct Uranus thing, because on a global scale it was kind of insane. Get my notes together. Okay. Cool. Not sure quite what's going on today. Let me go back and see. But I actually slept in like 15 minutes, which for me is huge. March 1st. Here we go. What do we got? I wonder. Okay. You skipped yesterday. Yeah? How'd that go? Oop. Webcam twitches. Maybe Sen will come and catch a good one. I got a good one last week with May. I didn't call anyone insane. I said the global the global stuff was insane. I was asking how everybody was doing Friday into Saturday with all of the global news going on was crazy, but like on a personal level, was it just as crazy? No one's insane. Okay. This week's chart. Again, I don't have a. Oh, now I'm doing the thing. Haha! You can get a double emoji. You can have the cat or the rabbit making that face. Yeah, the global stuff was wild. Very skippable. Yeah. Okay. Very skippable is good to hear. Yeah. No, I know. I looked at it this morning. There were a lot of wild conjunctions going on at the time, and so everybody like in the astrology community is just, this is so oddly specific with everything that they're just like, who is keeping up with astrology for the people in charge? But this is why I tell you that you should take advantage of the stars being aligned however they are at any given minute, because there are people who, if you won't, they will. So whatever it is, do it scared. If it's for the greater good, do it scared. why I harp on all of that. Oops. Because you might not do it, but someone will. So again, this week I don't really have any art in particular planned, but I did bring all of my watercolors and I had my time to get all of that together, so we'll do something colored that's a little easier to see. I'm also hoping that things are looking a little crisper than they had been historically. Now's a good time to check for all of that. Because in order to do that, we had to switch webcams out, which is why this one is the face tracking cam's a little twitchy. It's our cheaper one. Over the week, yeah, we're gonna do a painting that I did over the week as my example. Let's see, does that look crisp? Is that nice? Are we looking better than we have been? I think so. What do y'all think? I was playing with shading. Which I figured I'd do something like that again. I also have a draft for something that might be very fun to work on if the right people show up. Just as a kind of fun thing, but like it's drafted out, the lines are already done, all I'd have to do is color it and make it bolder and stuff. Let me... The twitching is supposed to be in service of crisp art cards. Exactly. Like there is a reason for it, and it is for crisp art on the cards and crisp art on the art. Guy named Astrology who does Andre and all the leaders. Yeah, it's pretty wacky. And that's me putting it lightly, right? Like this is the understatement of the year. Thank you. I used a picture of a guy sitting in a car as reference with the sun in the window. So I was just like looking for like extremes. So when I uploaded it to my Instagram, I was like, just imagine there's a really bright light coming from the person's right. This is for... What day is this for? There's so many. This one. This is for 3-3. Be more crisp if I had my glasses on. Well, I can't control that part. So that's up to you. That's up to you, Chief. 6 whole people watching. Wow, hello. That's a little... I know 3 of you. So, are we ready? We got a few people. It's a big week. Everything is a big week. It's always a big week. But we have the second act of the eclipse season coming through this week, so that's what's marking this one. And a few things are... Personal planets are shifting around a little bit. Oh, I'll fix this. Oh, hang on. There we go. Now they're all the same numbers on my side, too. Okay. So, 3 whole likes. Wow! Wow, I'm just a silly twitchy cat, so that's crazy. That's crazy. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm thinking about, with the changes and stuff happening, I'm late today, my bad, it's a mess. It's okay, son, don't worry about it. You're alright. Life happens. It's good to see you, though. I'm sorry it's been a mess. Now you can catch all the twitchy stuff that the webcam is doing, because it's the cheaper one. And we can have the counterparts to the bunny twitches as maybe emojis. It has In fact, so we found Doji, we found where Mars squaring Uranus has hit. It all seemed to just kind of concentrate into global stuff and possibly Sun's life. For me and you, fairly skippable, but for everybody else, Also, I guess Doji Sun gets to be L today. And therefore, I guess you get to be Hira. It does seem very specific, doesn't it? Okay. So the chart that I have here is for... Yeah, it's fine. I have a very twitchy disposition anyway, so it suits the character. At least internally. Hi, Kitty. Hey, Nick. Good morning. We haven't really started just yet. I was just telling people that I have a piece that I just need to get it together. There you go. You get some chips to make it all feel better. That'll help, right? Right? We hadn't started yet. I was just telling folks that I didn't have anything specific again to work on this week, but I did have like a rough draft of something that could be watercolored later. I did that a few weeks ago, so I've got that and we can work on it. And I have the right audience, so I am very excited about that. Twitchy will get better as I learn from now. It's in service of seeing the death. Yeah, we needed to see that. I was seeing in the camera that my art was looking a little bit blurry, which is fine, but then people always also ask like which cards are those and stuff, so I wanted to make sure that people could see it. And then we did a test run on a picture. It adds to my authenticity. There you go. We'll go with that. Don't worry about it. I'm not worried about it. So, the chart that we have, that I have printed, is for... I mean, mentally I am very twitchy. On the outside, as I understand it, I feel like I pass as fairly collected. My hands are always moving. But, on the outside, yeah, it's no holds barred. Yeah. So, no, yeah, Nick, you're right. The earthquake warning around Hawaii with the blood moon. Earthquakes. There's kind of a, truly possessed. There's kind of a, there's a vibe that we're starting to see playing out with the Neptune and the Saturn, and I'm noticing a bit of that split that I was talking about. So the imperative now is to keep in touch and on top of things, but also remember to appreciate what's good, right? Don't run yourself purposefully crazy and trying to keep up with all of the bad. You still have to take a moment for yourself, which is also kind of this here. So the map that I've printed out is for, we have the audience, it's right, and this is the OGs, we're all good, plus possibly a few extras. Hello. If I don't know you, I will introduce myself. I am Lil Lynn. You may call me Lynn, or Kitty, or whatever you want to call me. I don't know. I'll answer to hey you as long as I know it's me. I am a hobbyist, horoscope, and astrology person. I am always open to input and suggestion and collaboration with these things. I have done research for the week ahead. It might not be exact, but this is what I have found out. But I am always open to input and improvement. So, yes, Nick, and we can talk about that a little bit off offline maybe, because there's a lot happening with divine feminine and a lot of rage related to that. So last week, Friday into Saturday, depending on where you were, was the complete conjunction of Mars and Uranus. Let me see where that was. Not conjunction, excuse me, square. We may still be feeling some of that today. Look at my charts, I've got it moving. Won't lapse it. It should be diffusing, right? But it should still linger for another day or two. Not a morning person. It is all right, my dear. You can take me with you to go get your coffee if you need to. I have mine. Come join me in the coffee world. So the Mars squaring Uranus could have been fairly explosive. It was fairly explosive, has been, and continues to be. We should be starting to feel a lightening of that pressure as opposed to the buildup, though. So take care of what you need to. And remember to turn off the news and stop doom scrolling sometimes and just go outside and touch grass for a few minutes. Take care of yourself. Today was more of the same, honestly, that I've seen. Like, just looking at the chart, I'm not noticing anything in particular jumping out at me that won't play more of an important piece possibly later. We're starting to feel a conjunction between Neptune and the Sun, which we will feel more strongly later. Not conjunction, excuse me, trine. I'm just in a mood for conjunctions today, I guess. We're starting to feel this trine. We had and are, let me see when this is. I think this was yesterday, the trine between Mercury and Jupiter a little while ago. And yeah, so today's fairly quiet. Go take your naps. If you've had a rough weekend, I recommend a rest or a walk or something just to kind of clear your head if you can. It should just honestly be more of the same. It doesn't look like anything new is going to jump out. I mean, like, I stand to be corrected. Things could be crazy, right? But more of the same. There's no big reveals looking like there could happen today. Now, tomorrow, Monday, our boy Mars on Monday is coming out of Aquarius and going into Pisces. This is tomorrow, Monday. Yay. People do still watch the news. Or do people still on my news sessions? Yeah, I keep up with the news. I find for me personally that it works better to keep up with things and watch them and check on things as opposed to looking at it once in a while and being hit with a train wreck. I'd rather watch the wreck happen than suddenly look around and everything is on fire. So it does happen, but I am discerning with how I understand it because I know that there's a lot of influence happening at present. On Mars, on Monday, so we've got Mars in Pisces from March 2 through April 9th. Day of rest today, yes. Hopefully nothing extra jumps out, so just kind of breathe around the chaos that has been being revealed. Let me take off the questions answered thing here. Corner text. There we go. Okay. So, did that again. The thing that I need to see the chat the way that it is a little bit. There we go. Okay. Because I think she's got me dual streaming again. Okay. So, the theme of Mars and Pisces is slippery. That's how I'm kind of looking at it. Mars is drive, ambition, willpower, can also be war, right? But, you know, we're trying to keep it a little bit lighter right now. Giving things. so it's a lot of go, go, go. There's a lot of fire energy. Fire is meeting water with being in Pisces. So, oopsie daisy, things may come in ebbs and flows. I noticed while I was reading there could be a lot of silly little water metaphors I could make. So Neptune is the fish. He is Neptune ruled. There's a lot of oceans and dissolution and water eating away at things kind of themes with that. Aries is fire, heat, combustion, and obviously water and fire don't always mix super well. You may feel your drive kind of come in ebbs and flows like a tide. Better to just kind of roll with it. Let me see what it says. Inspiration and energy to work more in waves. Tides a la Neptune in the ocean, per my metaphor. There will be lows. Just kind of chip away at things as you can, whatever it is that you're working towards. You'll have those moments of like, I don't want to do anything. Just take one baby step. One little baby step. And trust that as time goes on, it will come up, the tide will rise again. You will feel more in a mood to do things. Still getting used to this new thing. I want OBS. I gotta mix it up. I want OBS open. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Now I've got the setup. I got the setup now, guys. We're good. We're good. Hi. I'm good at technology. I'm good at software. I know how software works. Hello. Anyway, so the drive, the willpower, depending on where the tide is, the tide could put the fire out, right? So the water could put the fire out. It might not always be there. Just take baby steps on those days and do your best, and it should be okay. Push harder when the tide is low. Both is good. There's a lot that you can leverage with this, Nick. But there's just bearing in mind that some days may be better than others, which is always the case, but it's especially pronounced now. Maybe you just factor in the low tides and you just set aside a certain amount of rest days, and we don't feel like doing something, you just make it your rest day and just kind of keep a tally, right? I don't know. But anyway, what you want and working towards that goal might get a little bit confusing or complicated. Remember, Pisces and Neptune are a bit foggy. They're dreamy, they're intuitive. So where you might have had like a bit of a clearer goal while everything was in Aquarius. It's a little bit hazy right now with the Pisces stellium going on. But this is forcing you to kind of like slow down, really sit with yourself, listen to your intuition, and figure out what you want, and make sure that when those days that the tide is low, that you are still, or the tide is high, that you're still kind of willing to work towards it little bit by little bit, right? Saturn, remember, discipline. He wants you now that he's in Aries. He is technically in fall here, but this is the year of the horse. Remember that the horse knows when to move forward, when to push, right? It's not just all go, 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 go. It's okay, I'll go for a little while. I don't know this area, so I'm going to go a little bit slowly. Now it's time to graze for a while. Now it's go, 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 right? You have to pace yourself, right? So Mars in Pisces is more of that kind of an echo. Kind of pace yourself and just kind of chip away and realize that, your goals might not always be as clear as they normally are. So it might get confusing. It might get complicated. There's a general distaste with confrontation. So when the shadowy side of this is like you could be experiencing more passive aggression around you. More avoidant personality, just they don't want to confront you, so they're just not going to say what the problem is. Extremely annoying behavior, but small ripples can make big waves, also makes the transition. Exactly, you got it. So watch out for people being a little more passive aggressive. Watch out for you being a little more passive aggressive. If there's something you need to say, especially with Venus about to shift over into Aries, it's better to say it. But we'll get to that more later. Now, Mars in Aquarius is movement for doing what's right. Mars in Pisces is movement for compassion, which these two kind of play in very well together, right? Desperately needed right now, the movement by compassion, the motivation by compassion, just given the circumstances of everything going on. what do I have? So, I wanted to ask, are you building your community? There's a lot of crazy stuff, awful stuff happening in the world right now. What are you doing to leverage these same transits to the betterment of society? So, like, are you building community? There's a lot of drive for that compassion, for that community building with Mars and Pisces, I feel like. There's a good spike in intuitive action with that aforementioned willingness to work towards a greater good. So, again, Pisces, intuition. We have this really big stellium in here right now. Mars is just adding to that, more intuition. You might know where you need to go without knowing how to get there necessarily, but you know kind of the direction and you don't know what the end goal is going to be. Just kind of like listen to yourself. If something's too stupid, obviously don't do it, but like if it's a thing that you just feel particularly compelled to do, that might be your intuition. Oh, she's picking me up. You didn't like me twitching?
No, it was terrible.
That's alright, Mercury's in retrograde, y'all. I'm not gonna be bothered by it, but that's fair. So, Mercury's in retrograde, technology doesn't work the way it needs to. We needed to be able to see things crisper, so pardon the twitching. It's running Miss May crazy, but so working towards that greater good. Mars in Pisces is also very good for adaptability. Pisces is kind of always changing, the waves, tides always rising, tides always shifting, there's always something going on in water, kind of shifty. So Mars in Pisces can make you a bit of a chameleon, make you better adaptable. All I see is tools of division is cruel. People can't just agree to disagree. It's all lenses. To me, foundations should be created. Yes. So people can't just agree to disagree, and I feel like that's because powers that be have been trying to teach people that they can't disagree, or can't agree to disagree, and also those powers that be have been pushing people to further and further extreme opinions, which makes it hard to reconcile, right? So it's just how do you break through that barrier, right? This is how you learn how to leverage the stars the way that the people who have worse intentions might not, or might be doing, right? Like do what you can. This is also your chance to step into, right? So watch out for, again, passive aggression in Mars with Pisces. Don't stand for it. I can't stand for passive aggression. But also don't be passive aggressive yourself, right? But it is good for adaptability. You'll be a bit of a chameleon. And you'll be working more towards that community building with everything leaving Aquarius, which is very, like you've done some of the work already, the tangible work. Now let's put some feeling behind it, right? On this same day, we have, and it won't show on this chart, this is for the 3rd, and I do have, okay. So this is for the 3rd. We have, where's the south node? Okay. These bad boys right here, the south node. And Lilith will be square on the 2nd. Also, happy March, guys. On the 2nd, Lilith will be squaring off with, and you can still see the degrees are still the same. I don't know why it's not connecting. So this is a pretty sharp square. Lilith is the taboo, the dark feminine, the, I don't know, kind of a male or a female coded counterpart to Chiron a bit. Like dark feminine has to stand up for her emotion. Divine feminine rage could be one. That's kind of, I think, how somebody that I like describes her. But she's going to square the south node here in Virgo, which is kind of a nice prelude to what's about to be going on with the eclipse. This is going to be a bit of a confrontation, because Sagittarius is kind of like freedom and philosophy and just kind of going, like, if you think of an arrow, it's just going to go forward. It can't really be stopped, right? Sagittarius is the archer. You shoots the arrow, it's just going to go. Virgo is meticulous, it's calculating, it's planned. May Day on March 1st, exactly. I hope it's not May yet, good golly. Anyway, calculated, giving, self-sacrificing, perfectionist, like these are all like different facets, good or for better or for worse of Virgo. Sagittarius is the fire sign, just gonna go get it. So these two are squaring. And it's gonna be a bit of a prelude to the new moon or full moon eclipse. Full moon eclipse? Do I have it? It's lunar eclipse is what I have written down. I don't remember right now where we at. Waxing gibbous. Yeah, okay. So it is going to be a full moon. Going to be squaring the south node. Now, north and south node. The north node is about goals and themes to be working towards. South node are your tools that you use to get to those goals. It can be, some people will describe it as like, this is what you're leaving behind and this is what you're working towards. Nice. So, the south node is what you're already good at, and the north node is what you need to learn how to do. Now, what you're already good at might make you complacent and fall into routines and just kind of let the standard be the same all the time, like you never chase. So, like, that's usually what people mean when they say, like, this is what you're leaving behind. It's letting go of, oh, hello, kitty. It's going through your toolkit, right? There are some tools that you need and some that you don't, and you're just kind of improving this toolkit that you work with. Now, these are the tools that you use in the south node to work towards the north node, right? So, Virgo is meticulous in nature. She is thorough. She will remember to take care of other people's as she goes along, and we leverage that to go to Pisces, who is dreamy and goal-oriented, like not goal-oriented, but like has lofty goals. And, you know, like if Pisces is aspirational, Virgo will sit down and go, well, how are we going to do it? Right? So, South Node, not letting go of everything. But this square off is a bit of a prelude to this eclipse. Because it's going to be a bit of a confrontation between of Lilith and Sagittarius and the sign of the like freedom and just kind of going by the beat of your own drum, to Virgo, which is, you know, a little more self-sacrificing. We've got these two conflicting, and it's going to be asking you, like, where are you doing too much of the shadow side of Virgo, right? Like, where Virgo themed unfinished business, where are you being too perfectionist? Where are you being too controlling? Where are you giving too much of yourself? Lilith wants you, in order to get ready for this eclipse, to ask yourself these kinds of things, like figure out what roles you have been taking on and which of those roles have like diminished you. Like, where have you given too much of yourself? Where have you not? Where have you put others before you? Right? Like, and that's not always a bad thing to do, to take care of people, but like, you can't keep doing it. Eventually you will have no more in the cup to give, right? You'll burn yourself out. So where do you need to take back your authority, the things that are Virgo related, right? Where have you diminished your truth? Lilith wants you to look at that. Where have you, you know, done too much? Like, where have you fallen into those traps? Review these to get ready for the full moon or the lunar eclipse. And Lilith is asking you, like, will you fall back into these old habits? Or are you going to learn from them, realize that they were bad habits, and grow? Again, like I said, it's good to give, it's good to be generous, but you can't give to your detriment, right? People will still remember you as generous if you let them borrow $5 that you do definitely have and can afford to lose versus, you know, $5,000 that you can't really afford to lose, right? Like, you will still have been helpful, you will still have been good, you will still have helped somebody. Versus, I have cut off a limb for your sake, right? There's a time and a place. Don't do too much. Love does not always, love sometimes means sacrifice, but it does not always mean sacrifice, and that is a trap that Virgo falls into very easily. So use your discernment, and you have been learning this over time with as long as these nodes have been in Pisces and Virgo. You have been learning this, but now is going to start being the time to like wrap up that lesson. So you're going to you might be tested with it. You might, I don't know, just be thinking about it a little bit more. Things of that nature. So she's just gonna really call where have you been, Lilith? If Lilith is freedom and divine feminine rage and stuff, and Virgo is, a caregiver that does too much, she is going to be and it's Sagittarius, right? So freedom. Where do you need to make yourself free? What do you need to get ready to let go of? What do you need to say goodbye to with this eclipse? So that is Monday. Good to sit down and think about it. Tuesday is one of the bigger days this week. This is the second half. This is what this chart is for. This is that lunar eclipse. What does it say? Yeah, this is the second half of eclipse season. We are officially in there. Now we just have to wait for the cycle to fully close out with the next moon cycle. So we're almost there. Hang on. The fast forward button will be stopped here soon. But we got to get through these last couple of weeks first. So I was talking in the Discord yesterday just to kind of loop everybody in that solar eclipses are about opening doors, and lunar eclipses are about shutting the doors behind you that do not serve you anymore, so that you can walk towards the doors that opened in the solar eclipse, or walk towards the path that you need to take. Right? So, North Node is about goals and things to aspire to. The South Node is, yes, we talked about that, goals, things to aspire to. South Node is what you already have to attain those goals, and or some baggage that you might need to let go of as you go. So this solar eclipse, I was talking to Miss May about it earlier while I was getting my notes together. It's kind of giving Marie Kondo. And maybe that's just because it's in Virgo. It's the last lunar, did I say solar eclipse? I'm sorry. It's the last lunar eclipse while these two are on the Pisces and Virgo axis. They are working towards the Leo and Aquarius axis. So this is kind of the curtain call, right? This is the last hurrah. This is the last really deep review of this cycle. It's giving Marie Kondo. We're looking to kind of tie those loose ends up. We're figuring out what sparks joy and what does not, right? So, like Lilith was asking, does this routine of yours, whatever it may be, work? Or does it need to go? Does this routine of yours spark joy? Or is it hurting you? Excuse me. If we look at the themes of Virgo, what are the acceptable amounts of control that you need to have over a situation, and what have you got a vice grip on? What do you need to let go of a little bit? Not even let go completely. It might be something that you need to let go of completely, but what do you either need to loosen your grip on just a little bit? What do you need to let go of? Where do you need to stop over giving? What limbs have you cut off that you need to grow back, basically, if we're going with the giving tree kind of look? It's time to kind of loosen up those grips and open up a little bit more to, and I say this is a Virgo sun who struggles going with the flow. I'm not very good at that. I'm getting better, but I'm not good at it. It's time to reassess bad systems and either let them dissolve away if they don't pass that assessment, or let them refine and mature if they do. It is happening on 3/3 on the Pacific Northwest of America. It will be happening at 3:33 in the morning. Or it will be part of that eclipse will also happen at 3:33 in the morning. Numerology, all the repeating numbers, short summary is you're probably on the right track. 3/3 implies Trinity, which, you can apply it to a religious lens of, the Holy Trinity, or you can look at it as the unification of mind, body, and soul, right? So this eclipse, with all of that reassessment and stuff, can recalibrate a bit of your self-perspective, like how you see yourself. It can recalibrate partnerships. Where are you giving too much? Where do you need to give less? Or where do you need to be willing to ask for more, to ask for help? And it can help choose alignment with your mind, body, soul over attachment to routines, right? Like where you are just doing something because that's how you've always done it. Do you still need to do it that way? Like you always need to do it that way? Or can you change it for some greater purpose, right? Like what is this still useful for you in your toolbox to work towards what you need to be working towards? Now, at the same time that this is happening, we have this pretty little sextile. Let me see where it is. Mars. Sextile Neptune? Yeah? Maybe not. Mars and Neptune might be doing something. I need to go look at that some more. I don't think that's a sextile though. So disregard that. I'll disregard that. But with Pisces, with all of this happening, it will be getting close to the North Node. Mars will be. The Sun is right near the North Node. All of this is like giving you the drive, the ambition, and the vision to kind of see what you're working towards. Love the words divine, feminine rage. Yes, we do. Explains why Gaia was mad yesterday. Need to ground. Not mad at you, just mad in general. Yes, the Earth is quite mad right now. People exploiting her. Yes, sun, air, water. Stop the holes. Yep. Discernment and boundaries are the lessons I'm learning with Akade. Apparently some people have negative reactions to love, facing this mirror, so to speak. Yes, some people do have negative reactions to love. That sounds like avoidant attachment disorder. Or avoidant attachment style, not disorder, excuse me. Fine line between control and release. Sometimes you get what you want by not trying to affect the outcome. I, for one, love it when I enjoy it when problems resolve themselves, but I rarely find that they do for me. So I tend to try to over-control. There's a certain also amount, and I think we talked about this a little bit last week too, Nick, of like, yes, the fine line between control and release, but also the act of release itself can be controlled. And that was a bit of an epiphany of mine recently, and it was a very interesting one. Because, yeah, we've talked a little bit, I'm going through some stuff right now. And I just I was like, okay, cool, well, if this works out this way, then I'm just going to let it happen. And there's a certain amount of control and peace in knowing that I am just not fighting anything right now. It's been very interesting. Anyway, so with everything with the Sun and Mars up on top of the North Node too, with the eclipse happening over here. Excuse me. It feels like a day. Like there might be some stuff that kind of gets ripped away, but it feels like if you have time to sit down and like really like kind of think about things, it could be a good day to like look at your ultimate goal, like maybe you have a vision board or something, but like look at your end goal, like what you're working towards, and kind of just use that picture, use that as a compass to like help you weed out what doesn't help. Right? So, which quote? Control or release is controlling? Oh, yes. The act of release can be control. Yes. Instead of me just like, you know those old cartoons of the cats or whatever that's just like bitten down on something and like they just keep chewing harder as they're trying to get shaken off? That's kind of how I usually am when someone's trying to get me to let go of something. So I'm working on it. The act of release can be control, and with that has come a certain sense of peace. It definitely had a bit of a leveling up kind of vibe to it when I realized. Release and be control. Cool. Now, Wednesday is a bit of the salve after all of that catharsis of releasing, right? Like it's a little bit of the how to make you feel better after something like that. We've got the Venus. Good old Venus will be sextiling Uranus right here. We've got a nice little sextile. It's already kind of forming here, which just kind of makes me feel still more optimistic about this kind of eclipse. But it will be like exact the day after. Venus sextiling Uranus. Again, more of the let go of stuff is that, love can be surprising in a good way. Venusian themes can be surprising in a good way. Venus is one of the benefics. Uranus likes to cause a little bit of chaos. I say that affectionately. There's a desire quote that I found for freedom and relaxed togetherness. So Wednesday to me sounded like, y'all know about Lady Lapine, don't know about this. Do y'all know about parallel play? When you just kind of hang out with other people and you all do your own thing? Wednesday sounds like a really good day for that. Control just donated $1 and gave it. Thank you. I need that as a recovering control freak. Anyway, Wednesday with Venus sextiling Uranus exactly, just parallel play. It could also be a good day to go out, maybe try to make a new friend, or talk with the old ones after the deep clean that will be this lunar eclipse. Somebody might say something unexpected that kind of like gives you a bit of an epiphany, or like helps you like clear out some of the fog that might be the path that you're walking down, right? Maybe. Or you just all bring your crafts over and everybody works on the crafts and you do your parallel play, right? Or someone plays a video game and you play, or you work on, I don't know, a sewing project you've been working on, but just like being together, but being free, right? Like having a nice, happy relationship, kind of going by the beat of your own drum. It sounded like parallel play to me. Now, at this point, easing off into here, that day, like towards the end of the day, the moon will be heading into Libra and kind of opposing all of this and making a T-square here. So for a few hours, it might be a little tense at some point. I'm hoping that's during everybody's night and you can just kind of sleep that off. But even if it's not, as the moon keeps going, it will start to make a trine with Pluto here, and it'll be happier, and it should kind of ease up a bit. Just a little room for chaos on Wednesday too, but it should be fine. It should be pretty much fine. Hello. Welcome in. We are going over the astrology for the week. I have my chart here. We have the day of the lunar eclipse on March 3rd. And we have talked about Wednesday now. The eclipse is on Tuesday, and we're going on to Thursday. Always keep a crochet project with you. Exactly. So, parallel play. Thursday, we have the sun. This will be going exact. We have the sun trining Jupiter retrograde. This will be going exact right here. It is good for confidence. It is good for optimism. Thursday sounds like a really nice day, to be honest. There is an opportunity to understand our feelings better. Jupiter is abundance and expansion and growth, but he is still for a few more days in retrograde. So a lot of that will be focused more inward. Retrograded Jupiter is not necessarily a bad thing, but instead of like outside influence, he is more inner influence. So with the sun, putting a spotlight on that, especially with this being the last trine of that kind while Jupiter is in retrograde, for right now, there's just kind of a wrapping up of whatever inner work we've been working to related to Jupiter in Cancer. More of the wrapping up themes kind of continuing. Excuse me. He will go direct next week. It's a good day to kind of make a plan. We have what we've been working towards. We've just purged. We took a day off. We played with our friends. Now it's time to like sit down and make a plan towards what you want to work towards, but don't necessarily start working towards it right away. Jupiter's going direct next week or the week after. This week, yeah, so next week, yeah. Jupiter's going direct on the 10th or the 11th, depending on where you are. So just hold off on starting any of those plans just yet. But it's a good day to sit down, realize how far you've come with since Jupiter's been in retrograde, see what areas it's impacted in your life, and then just kind of leverage the sun as a spotlight, make a plan, have it ready to go as soon as Jupiter goes direct. Starting to keep a notepad with you. Yeah, that's a good idea. Okay, Friday. Our girl Venus is going into Aries on Friday. It will be Venus in Aries from the 6th of March until the 30th. So, this is what we were talking about with, what was it earlier? It was with Mars and Pisces. Motivation by cat. Watch out for avoidance. What did I say? 1 second, let me look over my notes. Okay, yeah. So hazy thoughts, passive aggression. This kind of doesn't inherently make it more or less. I feel like it could be helpful with the slipperiness of Mars. Venus is moving into a Mars dominant sign. She'll be in there for the bulk of while Mars is in Pisces. Kind of help you find that drive, right? Hi, Sprinkle. Welcome in. Hurts, it hurts. Another huge wave is heading my way. Oh, man. Yeah, it's been a lot for a lot of people this last week. I know the global news has also not been good. We are up to Friday at present. How have you been doing? How are you? It's hurting. Are you okay? What's going on? Yeah, Steph, one of my favorite little text posts that I've seen is, I'm getting tired of living in unprecedented times. I'd like something precedented. Anyway, Friday, Venus is in Aries. She'll be there until the March 30th. Yeah. Well, we're on the tail end of the eclipse season. We've got to get through Tuesdays and then wrap it up, but hopefully that'll help. Oof. I'm sorry, honey. So Venus will be in Mars. Not Mars. Jeez. Venus will be in Aries, who is Mars dominant, so I'm hoping that'll give a little bit of clarity to the slipperiness that is Mars and Pisces. Venus in Aries likes to initiate rather than just receive. Be on your rising, opposing your Venus in Lilith. Hang in there, you're almost done. Hang in there. Really low energy. I just like you to your face. Yeah. Yes. So that is also very Aries coded of you, Nick. And I will say that. I know a lot of people who would not say that kind of stuff to your face. So I'm hoping that the Venus in Aries will kind of help with the dreaminess of Mars and Pisces. Venus in Pisces was very good, so I'm a counterweight kind of thing, right? So Venus in Aries likes to initiate rather than just chase. Mercury's hitting your whole chart. Yeah. I'm Mercury dominant, so the retrograde's not doing me a whole lot of favors either. Mostly forcing me to sit down and take a nap, but I know I've been learning how to let go of things that I can't control. It's been a ride, but when I realized, and we talked about this earlier, that release can be an act of control. It got a lot easier. It's still a lot, but it is better than if I was trying to fight it, right? That's how I am, but everybody else can input how they're feeling as well. I know that our dear friend Sin has been struggling apparently this weekend. Doji said that yesterday was skippable on a personal level, which was nice. Venus and Aries. Ready to hibernate and not leave your home except to vote. Yeah. It's a diffo. Yeah. So, Venus in Aries likes to initiate more. Love, romance, all things going for Venusian themes. Venus in Aries can be spontaneous and more direct, which I am hoping will counteract some of that drive for passive aggression. There's a good, with Venus in Aries, it's good for like boundary setting, obviously. Like where you're willing to go for people, set your walls. And also for having more of a willingness to ask for what you want. Just have to be careful to know what you want with with Mars in Pisces. But ask for help and know what your limits are. That's big Venusian theme. I like the quote, "It is a love that awakens rather than wait." Aries likes the thrill of a chase and keeping things fresh. Aries is blunt, or known for being blunt, but it's never out of cruelty, or not never. Usually, if it is not the shadow side of Aries, right? Usually it is not set out of cruelty. It is just say it like it is, right? Like this is not doing it for me, right? Whatever it may be, or this needs to change, this needs to stop, right? It's not usually intending to be cruel for the sake of it. Usually Aries is just to the point, right? But with this window, with Mercury in retrograde, with Mars in Pisces right now, choose your words wisely. Not that you would intend to be saying anything cruel, again, because with Venus and Aries, you probably don't mean to be saying anything cruel, but it might come across incorrectly. I would personally advise folks to think before they speak. Choose your words carefully. There is an adage that I got growing up that it is not what you say, it is how you say it, right? There's normally going to be a kinder way to say something, even if what you want to say is not inherently going to be well received. There is going to be a kinder way to deliver it than possibly could be your first instinct. So if you need to say something, do say it, right? Like, do say what you need to say, but be careful with your words right now, because there's a lot of room for miscommunication. There's a lot of room for hurt feelings right now. And with Venus and Aries, there could be a little bit of room for explosion too, right? So choose your words wisely, set your boundaries, do what you need to do, say no where you need to, but just say it kindly, or as kindly as you can, right? So that is my little spiel for all of this. But with Venus here, folks may gravitate with the Aries themes of like action and conquest and impulsivity, you know, the general Aries themes. So be careful, choose before you act, but you can have a good source, like a good drive force at action. Careful with your money, don't overspend. A lot of new things. Aries likes novelty, so there may be a lot of new things that catch your eye. It could be interesting, it could be tempting, you know, it could be like you want to try 10 new hobbies or something like that, right? Like, oh, I think sewing looks really cool. Oh, knitting looks great. Oh, let's work on painting. Oh, let's do this. And it's the ADHD, I want to start 15 different projects and finish none of them, right? And if you're completely starting new projects, you have to, you know, like get your supplies and stuff, and it can be a little bit spendy. Or, you know, I want to completely change my wardrobe, or things of that nature. Be careful, because these interests can be short-lived. Advice from me to you, when I get that kind of impulse, like when I want to make those kind of impulse purchases, I write down what it is and where I can find it, and then I give it a week or two, maybe a month, depending on what it is, right? I give it that much time, some amount of time, just to like kind of let that initial like itch for the dopamine hit to kind of subside. And then I'll go back and I'll look at that list of things that I wanted to buy. And if I still want to buy any of these things after a week, 2, 3, a month, if you still want to buy it after all that time, that is your cue to maybe this interest won't be so short-lived, right? That can be a cue to get whatever it is that you're looking for. If you look at it 2 weeks later and you're like, oh, actually, I don't want that, well, it's a good thing you didn't spend the money if you're already not interested, right? So just be careful with your money. But Venus being Venus does rule abundance. If there's a move that you realize you can make that can improve your financial situation, give it a second to think about it, but it could be good. And it could be worth going for. So Venus will be in Aries until March 30th. The big initial, I want to say the initial 3 degrees are the critical ones, and the last 3 are also critical. So for the first few days of this transit, you'll feel it the most, then we'll kind of get into a routine, and then we'll start wrapping it up towards the end, and it'll kind of spike up again then. So yeah, just be careful. Watch your impulses. Keep yourself in check. With us stellium, things are a little bit cloudy. Venus is like, spend your money, and Pisces is asking, what's on what? On what? So just be careful. On Saturday, yesterday, well, don't spend what you can't afford to lose. And I'm not saying that you're going to lose it, but just be careful so that you're not going to be hurt if you do lose it, right? On Saturday, Mercury, our dear retrograde boy right now, is going back and will be conjunct and or cazimi, however you want to call it, to the sun. And that is when we have our handy dandy little crystal balls here. We have the sun, and then we have a planet going right here. The sun is acting as a microscope on said planet, and it kind of emphasizes all of that planet's attributes. Plus, Mercury is, I affectionately call him the MSG of the chart. He emphasizes whatever planet he is going conjunct to as well. Mercury Kazimis happen a few times a year. You're terrible at... Yeah. I feel you on a spiritual level on that one, Sprinkle. I look back at some of the stuff that I had the opportunity to do, and there's a lot of swearing. Resorting to video voice. Not after that earnings report, but terrible at impulse control. Yes, of course you are, Nick. You are an Aries with a Pisces rising. If you have the impulse, I really suggest that you write, depending on what it is. Some impulses are worth following, but depending on what it is, you can write the impulse down, and then after that initial I have to do the thing has passed, you go back. Do you still want to do the thing when you look at it again? Okay, so the month can be extremely volatile for me financially. Tread lightly. Yes. Yes. Virgo rising, your second house is... Oh, your second house is Libra, though. That's nice. Okay. Depends on what's in there, though. Shorting the voice. Sorry, that got me. So, the sun is going conjunct Kazimi Mercury. Mercury is in retrograde, so he's backing up. They're going to just kind of meet in the middle right here. It's good for... Most Mercury Kazimis with the sun are good for communication and writing and clear assertion, which is going to be possibly a day of break from all of this miscommunication, right? You might have a very welcome moment of clarity. If things are feeling a little bit hazy, you might find the words that you need for something. Good for like just creative endeavors. It's good for communication. It's good for, putting your thoughts in order. While you're having that clarity, if you have that clarity, I would recommend writing it down, just so you have it later when you look back and you go, what was I thinking? But it is usually, it can lead up to some kind of Kazimis, like Mercury Sun Kazimis can lead up to some kind of moment of insight. It could be with it being in retrograde, being a little more internal, it could be something kind of deep that surfaces right now. On this same day, Venus, these two, this is Saturday, they will go conjunct. Saturday. This kind of plays in nicely with the Cazimi that's happening. It could be a bit of a dreamy feeling to romance. It can also be inspirational, which would be helpful right here. With Neptune and Venus, Venus is love, abundance, romance, etc., etc. Neptune is dreams and fog and illusion, but also just, like aspirations dissolving, things of that nature. Be careful not to put someone up too high on a pedestal. I didn't see anything specifically saying that when I was doing my research, but I would just be careful. You might in this little time frame kind of want something a little more destined, not necessarily just convenient as far as like romance or relationships in general kind of go. Take care to make the heart and soul move with intention with this conjunction. Be purposeful, don't just kind of float. And don't let yourself just Aries rush blindly into a Neptunian fog, right? So the vibe of the whole day, this day altogether, to me, feels like you're looking for epiphanies that might not inherently make a lot of sense right away, but if you write it down and you look back at it, you go, oh, this is what I need to do, right? It might clarify itself a little bit as time progresses in the next couple of weeks. So, that is your week ahead. We ready, boys? We ready, girls? Ready, fellas? Always want to impulsify everything, just ship right to more door. It's great until it's not. Yeah, you gotta be careful with that. Amazon killed shopping. I also stopped community by proxy. Results not the journey, shortcomings. Aries and Pisces traits. Love Aries energy. Chart ruler. Yeah, you could be a little bit biased, but it's useful. Romance, no flipping way. I'm currently nunnery. That's fine. Then use the Venusian stuff that isn't romance related. Just, don't put the nunnery on a pedestal, maybe? I don't know. Just don't put anything up too high on a pedestal. A little pedestal on that day sounds fine, but, just really keep in tune with things. Write yourself your notes. See if it makes sense pretty shortly here in the future. Aries is never ready, they just arrive. Yeah, thought planets were chart rulers. So, Aries also chart ruler. I think what Sprinkle meant is that Mars is her chart ruler. If she's Aries, she said Virgo rising, Aries Pisces chart ruler. Oh, it might be that Aries makes like the most aspects to a planet. So if she's a Virgo rising, technically Mercury is her chart ruler, but depending on what Mercury is doing in her natal chart, it might be that Mars is doing more. And if that's the case, if there's a lot of stuff happening with Mars, then she might feel a little more Aries run. For you, Nick, I can't remember all of the details of your chart at present, but you are a Pisces rising, which technically means that Neptune is your chart ruler. Mercury is your chart ruler, and it is an Aries. There you go. So, with Mercury as her chart ruler, Aries, it's like the effects of that sign would impact that planet, right? So that is what kind of that means right now, Nick. So for instance, though, you can have kind of a few people, and it depends on where planets are at certain points in your life versus, like up against your natal chart and stuff. There can be one or two planets too that does a little bit. So like for instance, I am Mercury dominant. I am extremely Mercury dominant, but I also have a lot of influence with things like Lilith and Saturn and such too. So when I try to make some kind of decision when I'm using that to refer to, I will also put into consideration not just my Mercury sign, but I will also look at things like what would WWSD, what would Saturn do? WWLD, what would Lilith do? right? Especially since for me personally, those two are up towards the top of my chart. So, that's kind of that breakdown. Neptune is your chart, so Neptune is your ruling energy. Yeah. So, there you go. Neptune, I think your Neptune was still in Capricorn, Nick. Because I think we're fairly similar in age. So yeah. Exactly. What would Saturn do here? What's Lilith up to? What does Lilith think? What does Mercury think? We got a lot of people to talk to. With my chart, I have like a strangely balanced, like it's not perfect, right? But like as far as elemental, I have a lot of elemental balance going on. But I have a lot of planets that have very similar numbers of connections and stuff. And so it's just like I have to have like a bit of a conference before I make a whole decision. I can't just blindly follow one sign or one planet. I have to sit down and talk with a lot of people. Also feels very mercurial of me, with the Gemini rising in particular. With Virgo, I feel like he's a little more independent. But with Gemini, I feel like he has to talk it out with a lot of people, so sorry. Oh no. The camera froze. I was just trying to stick something down. Oh, I see what happened. Hang on 1 second, guys. I'm working on it. Just a second. At least I think I see what happened. Ah! Hi, Mercury's in retrograde. Let's see if that fixes it. Hang on. Did I accidentally unplug something? I'm trying to see. Are we back? Can we? My little light's off. Oh no! Totally not balanced at all. Haha. Oops. Oops. Hang on, let me sweet talk Miss May into coming to see what I unplugged. Give me just a moment, guys. Ah! Dirt, mostly earth. Ah, yeah. I'm like 26% air, 24% earth, something. I don't know, it's weird. 23. What did I do?
I don't know what you did.
Ah, the light turned off.
On what?
This one. Hang on, guys, we're troubleshooting. Oh, retrograde. I was just trying to stick the sticker down.
No, stick that sticker down.
This thing, I was trying to stick it back down.
Oh, don't bother with things while we're doing things.
Oops. Hee.
There you go.
Thank you, dear.
You're welcome.
A savior. And a saint. Oof. Pardon my head. Pardon the wiggle. It will stabilize here in just a second. Dirt, mostly earth. Virgo, men with Aquarius moons are the devil. I learned this in school last week. Got a big pet. Stars are a vine. Yeah. So, that's our week ahead. Let's talk about it a little bit. Y'all can tell me about how things are working out for you, or what we're working on right now, or if any of this is particularly resonant. Let's chat. We'll talk about this. We can talk about music. We can talk about whatever you want. I have here. All is perfecto. I have here. I don't know if our dear Sin is still here, but I started this a little while ago. A little love rat clown. So I wanted to see if I could paint some of it. While we sit and talk and hang out for a little bit. Don't feed her ego too much, Nick. But that's our week ahead. We're getting so close to the old eclipse season being more or less done. There's still a couple of weeks to it, but yeah. Rat explosion, yeah. I wanted to, I thought it would be funny to do some kind of love rat thing at some point. I can't promise it'll be great, but it'll be fun at least. Oh. Let's talk about things. We talked about music and stuff last week. We can talk about star stuff. We can have questions. Community troubleshoot. Star problems. Whatever sounds good. Hi, Mary. Welcome in. Good to see you. Our big thing is this Tuesday, the solar eclipse. Its release can be control, and we talked about it a little bit, you and me, just kind of review things, see how you're feeling about it. Hush you, kitty. I may have learned through my distortion. Candy Cloud times. Yeah, we have a, 12th house. Next one's this industry structure garbage. The personal planets and the vertex 90 verse. I've read that stuff sitting on the vertex can be pretty alright, though. Or at least faded. I don't have anything sitting directly on top of my vertex in particular, but I do have a lot of close friends with planets that are at that degree of the vertex. But Virgo men, especially August Virgo men, can kind of just be the worst. I feel like they've still got too much of the main character Leo syndrome going on with some August Virgos. So then you get the main character Leo and then the potential for pedantry, pedantic Virgo, put in the same suit, and it's a little bit rough at times. Very actually vibes in my personal experience. Huh. Okay. Well, I wonder if it was the vertex or if it was just that Virgo. Your Saturn was on his vertex. There you go. That could be your problem there. That could have been that he was a lesson. I'm sorry. I assume the vibes were fun until they weren't anymore. Or it was something that you thought you liked that you ended up not liking. Chiron opposite. There you go. There's a big Sun, Venus, North Node, all in my 12th house with my Chiron. North Node and something I don't remember. Chiron opposite Chiron. Yeah, there you go. Chiron opposite Chiron and Saturn vertex. There you go. There's something. There's a lesson there. I'm sorry. Are you doing okay? How are you feeling? Yeah, it still has choice to act on them, definitely, but there is, and we've talked about this a little bit, there's definitely a shadow side to all of the different signs and planets and stuff. And yes, if he's acting on them, that is ultimately his responsibility. But I think for that kind of thing, it's nice to be able to look at that person's chart and go, well, this could have been the influence. This could have been that. Like, just kind of give it some kind of explanation where it might feel a little confusing, right? Where it might feel a little bit not cohesive. It can give a sense of closure when there may not have been any. Venus square each other's. Wow, yeah. Oops. No, definitely don't let him get away with it, right? But like, it can really help, like, just kind of with getting a perspective on things that way. Like, oh, this might have been, yes, he is still 100% at fault, but this might have been what was influencing that decision. Versus just, why doesn't he love me? Right? Like, it helps when you can make sense of the awful rather than just sitting there and going, what happened? Now, again, that does not excuse him, and apparently he needs to grow the hell up. But, and just having compassion for somebody does not mean that you need to keep them in your life. Very much on your let's agree to disagree kind of thing. And boundary setting. And don't overgive. Don't let people walk. Virgo rising, don't overgive. You're not a giving tree. You can't pour from empty cups. Oh, thank you. We got confetti. Astecs in both of our vertex. Yeah. Well, you had something to learn from him. So now you know what not to do for next time. Whatever it was with Saturn, you need to just sit down with WWSD. What's Saturn doing here? What's he feeling? What was the lesson? Do you know what the lesson was that you're supposed to take away? Other than that person acting on his shadow side is garbage? Is there a character trait that you need to realize that you absolutely cannot be compatible with? Or is there something, there was an element to this Mercury retrograde of like looking back on things with nostalgia, but not inherently like, oh, it was better that way, but I missed this aspect of this one thing and I would look for this aspect of this one thing going forward. Not, I want all of this, again, just I want this piece, right? So, to a T. Yeah. Giving me too much with little to no reciprocity. Yes, it's a two-way street. It's a two-way street, and that was a very hard lesson for me to learn growing up, too. Just in general, like with different types of relationships. So, when things get too tense like that again, if our beloved Saturn rears his head again with that kind of thing, just sit there and remind yourself it's supposed to be a two-way street, and when something asks too much without giving you what you need, then you just say, no, actually, I learned this lesson this time. This is what I can offer instead. Counter offer. As opposed to just blindly agreeing. Thanks for giving kitty capitalism. Hey, I gotta pay rent. I got groceries to pay. I can't help it. Who's love rats? Yes. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yes, there's definitely a lot of work to do with that kind of thing. Heart turned completely cold. So my general rule of thumb that everybody can take or leave is, what can I afford to give without missing it if I don't get it back, right? Just kind of, not inherently with like the relationship side of things, but like just in general, like if someone asks me for something, right? Can I give it without missing it if I never get paid back? Or like if someone borrows money, right? If someone asks me for $5, that's very different than someone asking me for $500 or $5,000 or $500, right? Like, can I afford to give what they're asking me, or do I need to come up with a counteroffer? And I'm sure there's a way to twist that metaphor to apply to personal relationships too. So, you're at a rough weekend. Well, I'm proud of you, Springle. It's good to have you back. It's good to see you. And thank you for sharing. I'm sorry that had to happen with the Mars and Uranus square too, because that sounds like it could have been fairly explosive. But it's a good time to sit down and reflect on what you might have needed to be learning from that with Saturn on the vertex like that. This includes love. Love does not deal with transaction. No. Yes. But if it has to be a give that is not joyful or a give that ultimately hurts you in the end, then that is not healthy in the long run, right? A week before I told him, I asked my pendulum. Whoops. Whoopsies. Uh-oh. There's a little clown rough. For those who are mask fall off like that, yeah, that's hard. But yeah, give joyfully, definitely, but like you cannot give until you have nothing. And that's been very hard for me to learn over the years. If you give until you have nothing, it stops being generous and just starts being self-sacrificing. Oh, Critical Role's a Dungeons and Dragons podcast. YouTube show? Both? I don't remember. Rat Clown. Love Rat Clown. I drafted this out right after I got this notebook months ago. So it's fun to finally have the time and the bandwidth. I do have that picture of the cat with the coffee already done. We just haven't had time to get it ready for the streams. Rat in Chinese astrology? Whale. Steph here is one too. If you're interested, Miss May did a couple of videos for the Lunar New Year, and Rat was one of them for the different signs. I don't think we got through all 12, but I know we definitely did Rat. But we have a running joke between a few of us on the streams, because a regular of ours is from London, and apparently the slang for a player, like a guy who cheats on somebody, right, is a love rat. But when she said it the first time, a few of us had no idea what that meant. And we were just like, well, I guess we're all love rats now. So a few of us just joke about being love rats. And then I in particular joked about being a love rat clown. Because we're all a bunch of goofballs too. But Sen got to be a love rat emperor for a card pull they got on tarot. I adopted the love rat clown as the local gesture. That's the Gemini rising. And then other people are just being goofy with us. After 6 years of the horse vibes, it said no. Where's my motivation? What would motivate you the most? Where's your motivation? No. fine that we only got through 6. And there was plenty going on about the Year of the Horse when that was happening, so folks can find their stuff somewhere. It's just if they want to come to us. It's not a big deal. Mm, 11:31. Okay. Got through this week pretty quick. Kind of silly with the eclipse happening. I've read that March is a bit of a transitory month. Like there's a lot of transition happening, which makes sense with everything going from Pisces into Aries from the end to the beginning. So get ready for that. We've got some stuff happening next week that we'll talk about over coffee next time. Hey Maya. Hello, hello. How are you doing? We were talking about astrology. You need to look up the lunar eclipse on Tuesday the 3rd. Give it a shot. And we are doing our chats, and we are painting and hanging out. Rats aren't fond of horses. Apparently not, but apparently neither are monkeys per the readings too. Well, not the readings that Miss May pulled, but like just the general readings I've been finding. School start. Yep. It's true. Rat on a raft pushing it down a river. I mean, that's how the rat rode the cow across the river in the story, so it checks. I think I'm a water monkey, which made me funny, made me laugh when I thought of what are they called? Sea monkeys? The little shrimps that you used to get. That's how I feel. Everyone's shaking everything up. Yeah, that's what retrograde's gonna do. Retrograde's gonna retrograde, and then Friday night, still feeling it today, but Friday night was when that conjunction between Mars and Neptune went exact, and that could have been fairly explosive too. Story of the Zodiac, the Cunning Beastworks. So the story of the Chinese Zodiac is that God sent out invitations to the animals, and the first 12 would be honored in their new zodiac layout. So yes, there's a lot of cunning, there's a lot of planning for a lot of the animals, and then some of the animals were just gifted, so they were a little bit lazy, and they did it. When does it end? I need it to end. That's a big question, Maya. That's a big question. Eclipse season will be done. Sorry, there's a child screaming outside on the courtyard. So if you hear that, that's what's going on. They're outside playing because it's the end of summer down here. Anyway, when does it end? I need it to end. Depends on which aspect we're talking about. Eclipse season will be over in a couple of weeks. We've got the big lunar eclipse hitting on the 3rd. That will be on the Virgo Pisces axis. And so what it is asking you to do is let go of the controlling systems that you might have that might be to your detriment. You might need to work on let go of. It's kind of a review of the places where you're a perfectionist and over-controlling and stuff. You still need that attachment. Refinement and learning how to let go of what doesn't serve you. Mercury is in retrograde until March 20th, so there's a lot of room for communication error, and it's in Pisces, which is where he's not super strong anyway. When he's just a little dreamier, confused. I called it the ADHD position. Lost in thoughts and stuff. That's over on the 20th. That's also when Aries season starts, which is the start of the astrological, like the Western astrology year. the square between Uranus and Mars will be over in a couple of days. So, I'm an ox. Yep. Monkey is playing in the trees above the water. Someone to stop calling me names, putting me down every day. It's definitely helped me with my anger issues. Could have been so much worse. Yeah. You are a water monkey, Nick. Ask me how I know. It's been crazy with me and my relationship. I'm going through a lot. Yeah. Yeah. If things are not great, they could be kind of coming to a head right now, Maya. And right now, what it's asking you right now with everything is, what do you need to let go of? What doesn't serve you anymore? How do you find the things that you need to keep to make it better, to get towards your ultimate goals? Is it because I looked at the stars? Yeah. Woof. Yeah. Don't out someone's birthday stuff, please. He doesn't have to confirm or deny, but be careful. I don't want people to accidentally get themselves doxxed for whatever reason, but Saturn and Neptune. That makes sense if your Saturn was on his vertex sprinkle. That makes a lot of sense with a fog lifting, and you can see someone for who they really are. I can definitely see that. Well, my big lesson, Maya, has been that release can be a form of control. And that's not me saying, like, oh, break up with whoever or whatever. It's just there's a certain amount of control that you can have when you stop trying to force something, for better or for worse, or maybe it's just I need to stop worrying and just start letting things happen, right? Like, just trust that you will see what you need to see as you work towards letting something, whatever it is, as you work towards just kind of letting things unfold the way they need to. You're a water monkey doesn't come across as rude. Yeah. Yeah. Zodiac is the only context. Absolutely. But now someone can go, oh, you're a water monkey. And I'd be like, how did you know? How did you know? Besides the fact that I said something. But no. I know you're prone to anxiety and stuff too, Maya, so it's just a matter of, like, sitting down, especially on Tuesday, it's very good, sitting down and, like, taking note of how to keep in control of what you can control and which parts of wanting to control are just hurting you more than they're helping, and how to let go of that. Trying to yeah. It sounds like if it's a wild ride, you just kind of need to sit back and kind of let it go. Like, not in a breakup, but in a just a we'll see where this goes kind of thing, right? Like, I'm just in it for the ride, right? Like, you just walk in, not many expectations, just try to enjoy something for what it is. And if it's too right, you can't determine the outcome of everything. You just kind of have to let it unfold for yourself. And that's scary, and it's hard because you have plans for how everything works, and then it doesn't go according to plan, and you get mad. But reciprocity is a two-way street, and working together is a two-way street, and Where is control, your desire for control, inhibiting collaboration? Where is control making you hang on to something for too long? Where is control hurting you, not helping you? That's what Tuesday is about. And do you need to refine that control, or do you need to let it go completely and just kind of surrender? What's working and what's not, especially since it's the last eclipse on the Virgo Pisces axis. Earthquake here, though. He was at my place, luckily. So I would have been alone. Did a Reiki on me to have a clear mind for me. Yeah. Getting shaken up, so Mia. I mean, yeah, there's definitely, like, every relationship has to go through challenges, and those challenges determine if you can make it or if it doesn't work. But if you want it to work, then you'll find a way, as long as it's good for you. Reiki healing works. Stress comes back in the same place you're picking up stress. Yeah. Go out and touch grass. The names are just names. I remember souls. Go touch grass. Go make yourself feel better. Do something different. Put yourself in a new situation. Feel something new for just a little while. See if that helps a little bit. It gives you a different perspective on things, whatever they may be at that point. And however it shapes up, you can fairly safely assume that you'll come out stronger for it. Yeah, he's just a little clown rat. Rat clown. Love rat. Love rat clown. I wonder if I'm having thoughts. Hold on. Aha! Hearts. No, he's definitely a little love rat. Put the hat on a rat. Screamed really loudly at my walls. There's you. There you go. Delusional is okay-ish, Maya, but you have to be willing to put a plan into action as well and have a plan for achieving that delusion. Right, there's a lot of go after your dreams kind of vibes right now, but you also have to, with Saturn getting ahead of Neptune, you have to like sit down and come up with a framework of how it needs to happen, whatever it is. Put a rat hat on the rat, give him hat pat. You saw that thought bubble from here. Bubble what? Love rat clown. I wonder how Story would feel like if we really sat down and told her, like, this one thing she said has stuck with us so hard. To tell her sometime. I feel like she'd get a kick out of it. Neptune in your 8th for the next 14 years. There you go. Well, Saturn will be there to help you, like, at least for the first couple, to kind of help you out. You know how to play the game. There you go. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Fine. fine line between. Yeah. Neptune in the 8th for your 14 years. See what you gotta do is you just kind of gotta roll with it, Sprinkle, because Neptune's just in my 8th house. So I was born with it, molded by it. Right now he's in my 11th. Well, still in the dregs of my 10th. I'm ambivalent on whole house system. I like Placidus a little bit more. At least for things like this. So right now he's still in my 10th for a while, but moving towards my 11th. And together that kind of makes sense to me. Saturn is not fond of me. Well, you gotta figure out what to do. It sounds like you're conjunct in Scorpio on your 3rd. Saturn, Mars, and Pluto. That's a lot. All on top of each other? Wow. Wowee. How fond of you are you of hard resets? I guess in your 3rd house it's a little bit different, but sounds like you really like a good do-over. To look up a picture of a white rat so I know how their little mouths work. Yeah, I bet. Saturn, Mars, and Pluto. Yeah. That sounds right. Kinda gotta work with them. Doesn't make it inherently any fun, though. Okay, got a little reference of a little white rat, so I know how their faces work. I had to pull that up on the side. Okay. Got a little snout. Little rat snout. Some jowls. Little rat jowls. Little rat snout. Little rat jowl. Neptune, 1st house, Aquarius. Oh, Maya, did you figure out your birth time? You didn't tell me that. That's very exciting. I'm one of the greatest. Oh. Good. Oh no. Yeah, that's a lot of rug pulling. Damn, oh man. I'm sorry, honey. But good job. I'm glad you could do that for him. Foundation's my own right now. Having a lot of relationship lessons right now. And how to do them. very exciting. What's your rising sign? What did we decide? What did you find out? Yeah. It is tragic. But I'm glad you could do that for him and that you can still do that for him in his honor, right? Saturn in your 7th house in Virgo. Oh, you have to learn some stuff about what you need out of relationships, and you seem to have relationship troubles sometimes, and it's just a matter of you figuring out how you need to be best in them. Is that kind of vibe? Like, some of your lessons are about how to have healthy relationships, which it sounds like you're learning how to do, right? You're taking the right steps. You just might be kind of struggling right now. We'll play So Nice. You have no idea, Nick. I'm gonna play So Nice. Scorpio boy. Rebirth. Helps you do a reset. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That sounds. I'm glad he's still there. That's good. Yeah. Definitely. But as long as you remember to feel the feelings along the way. Virgo rising. Everything in your chart. Everything is hitting Virgo. Yeah, do you have a bunch of different planets in Virgo, or is it just Saturn just making a lot of aspects? Feel it, or I feel them. Yeah. 7th house is Virgo. Before that is Leo. So are you an Aquarius rising, Maya? Chart is 40% water, Scorpio, and Pisces. Impossible for me to get numb. Yeah. I try. I try so hard not to feel these things. We were talking about it. I don't think you were here last week, but I describe it as like that scene from Emperor's New Groove when Yzma is talking about how she's going to turn Kuzco into a flea. And then she's like, I'll put that flea in a box, and I'll put that flea in another box. I'll mail that box to myself and smash it with a hammer. That's how I feel about my emotions. It doesn't always work sometimes, but goodness, I try. Yeah, stelliums happen like that. There's definitely heavy weighted, and you've got to just learn to find the balance between all of it. Like I said, my chart is weirdly balanced, but it is also very. I want everything to make sense. Gotta feel the feelings, but it sucks feeling them sometimes. You can see the little whisker spots. There's spots into this. Into here. First house. Can't have your Virgos that much. Virgo's only going to be in one spot in your chart. It will interact with a lot of different things. Love the clown rat. Thank you. But if your first house is in Virgo, then your 7th house should be in Pisces. But is that where the wheel starts, Maya? Is your first house is in Virgo? Virgo is in right now. The moon isn't Virgo yet? Or is it still over in Leo? March 1st. Right now the moon is in Leo. But yeah, when you see your wheel here, this is just a hypothetical, right? But like if you see your wheel here, whatever this line is, this sign, right here will be your first house, whatever it is on this chart. Really silly, their little eyes are a little bit different than what I remembered. Let's see what we can do with this. Little. A little more squinty looking, I guess, to make room for the snout. Squinty. I guess this guy's just gonna get to have huge eyes because I need to fix the shape. Oh well. Just a big-eyed sweet thing. That's fine. There we go. Oh, I just tried to turn you off. That's a cat. It was both. I saw your birth chart, and it is similar enough to mine that I could kind of infer. There are certain planets you can look at. You can kind of tell what's what, but that is a secret, a power of mine. I do not want people to post their actual birthdays information on like our Discord and stuff. The chart is fine. But yeah, you can kind of infer that stuff just from where certain planets are. Right. But yes, I am also a water monkey. That is the short answer. And yeah, I still don't want people in the Discord just posting their date and time and location of their birth like you would get on Astrology, so I still need them to like crop that out, but you can kind of get a gist. You wouldn't know an exact day, but you would get a gist. There. You can get pretty close. I try not to get that deep into the weeds. I know exactly what time, because that just seems like an infringement. Oh. Weed just makes me paranoid. I've tried it a handful of times and only had one good time, so I try to avoid it. I get scared that I'm going to be the one person who figures out how to swallow my own tongue, even though I know that that's not possible. So it's like this war between emotional me and logical me, going, what if I figure it out, but what if I die? It's like, no, Rhiannon, no, Lynn, you just have cotton mouth. That's all this is. And it's like, but what if I figure it out? And no, you didn't figure anything out. You're fine. But what if? And so it's just not great for me. But if it works for you, heck yeah, go for it. Mother's a daily smoker. Yeah. I feel like the two can work together. modern medicine and other alternative stuff. I don't think ADHD has its pros and cons. It's just a different way that the brain is rewired, right? And it's suited for some things and not for others. And the unfortunate part is that the world is not suited for ADHD stuff at present, right? So for a lot of people, it is a disorder because they are expected to work and think and act a certain way, and there's no second option without being misunderstood or being seen as different, right? So in a corporate world, if you have like a just corporate job where you're supposed to sit still for 8 hours in a day in an office in a cubicle and just work and do meetings and stuff like that, ADHD is very much a disorder, right? If you are expected to work like that and make your, like, it's not even a disorder, it would be a disability, right? Like, it would be very much a disability. Ask me how I know. But if you can find something that lets you work with it instead of work against it, right? Or if you're lucky and your hyper focus of choice happens to pay the bills, you're usually pretty good to go. ADHD has its place, right? But yeah, if you have to try to fit a certain mold to make ends meet because you have no other options, again, ask me how I know, it became extremely inhibiting. Oh, the alligator in the dumpster. See, and in my free time, I enjoy working with my ADHD. Yes, I do. It's fun. It makes me creative. It makes me think things. But if I have a day job where I'm expected to sit down for 8 hours and pay attention, ooh-wee, it's a lot. And for that, it's a matter of know thyself. Yeah, and when you're that level of inebriated, it gets a little bit rough. Because logical brain knows that there is nothing going on there and that it is all in your head. But then your feelings are just like, but what if? But what if? What if there's an alligator in a dumpster? What if I figure out how to swallow my own tongue? Yeah, I didn't find out until I was 30 on the nose. Because I am a champion masker to my detriment. And it wasn't until my therapist said, Lynn, I think you might have this. Have you ever heard of masking? What are you talking about? And then I looked up masking ADHD symptoms, and it was a list of 20 things you can do to mask your ADHD symptoms, and I did 19 of these things. Yeah, it can be hard. There's a time and a place. And sometimes it just... knowing when and where to take care of it is good, right? Because there's only so much. You still have to pay bills. You still have to do things. And, like, if you can find creative outlets that work with the ADHD to do it, that's good. Great, go for it. But if there's something you've got to get through and you just kind of have to suck it up, do what you need to do. Schrodinger's alligator. Schrodinger's alligator. That's getting written down. Yeah, it is a Virgo thing. Yeah, it's very Virgo, very mercurial. And then you find out that you have this thing, and at least for me, when I figured out and I put all the pieces together, it was like it's like my brain chemistry said, haha, you got me, and then just completely let go of all of the masking skills that I had developed. It was like it was letting go of the reins, as I described it, and so I just kind of had to freewheel it for a while until we got something figured out that was helpful for me. It was not great. Not the greatest time in my life. I got it more or less figured out now, but there are days that are better than others. How did my CD cover come out? It came out really well. I'm going to wait to post the final piece on Instagram until my friend's album comes out, which I think is going to be sometime this month. But if you're interested, I can send you my Instagram and you can keep your eye out for it. But yeah, I'm pretty pleased with how it came out. I got it finished, and then me and Lady Lapine did a little bit of tweaking to make it look like a vintage 70s photo, like a little bit of computer editing, and I'm pretty excited about it. No idea what's on the path. I feel like spoken like a true Pisces rising, Nick. Mary's son. But yeah, it came out. I'm pretty pleased with how the cover came out. Excited to see it go live. But I figured it would be better to wait until he publishes his album or releases his album before I go ahead and post the final. But if y'all want, nope. Let's see if y'all want. Let me see if I can do it. Hard to type at the same time. That is my Instagram username, and you can find me and keep up with my art there. The picture is the little painting that I have of my little cat friend. Spies fear and don't allow it to be in my presence. Yeah. Yeah, I'm mostly just the inattentive type, so I just get lost in daydreams and such. I do have some of the impulsion stuff issues, but it's mostly just that my brain is going 8,000 miles a minute at any given moment. So I realized I had the ADHD, and my head was like, haha, you got me, and then suddenly I could not hold a single thought for like months. It's rough. But yeah, I'm in a situation now where I should start posting more of my art and stuff up there. How happy to and open for things like commissions and such. But yeah, I should have more time for art and other silly endeavors here pretty soon. So you should be seeing more of that on there in the very near future. So if y'all have an Instagram, stay tuned. If you don't, it's public, so stay tuned anyway. That boy. Go back and fix that. Not fat. That's a good thing to be. Yeah, a little chubby rat's fine, but just the angles of some of this. I was kind of freewheeling it when I did the sketch. Whimsy. Whimsy. A lot of things are in Pisces. It's time for whimsy. It's fine. I'm not worried. Thank you, dear. Yeah, May and I both do art. So it's really fun. I'm going to start trying to... If you don't use it, I'm glad you should use it though. Thank you. Oh, Miss May is putting clothes away in the background, so...
Oh, is it making noise? I'm sorry.
No, it's not making noise, it's just picking it up so I keep disappearing and stuff.
Oh.
And it's fine, don't worry about it. See, there it goes. It's fine. We're just hanging out. Yeah, so May has been doing her art, but not post. She does have an art Instagram, but she doesn't post much there, which makes sense since Instagram's kind of slow, but she keeps things on VGen, and right now I'm just keeping things on Instagram for now.
I don't post because I'm slow at making art.
I figured it was because you were working on a project for 5 years.
Because I'm slow at making art.
Well, you were processing. There was a lot of drafts involved with that art. Yeah, and so yeah, there should be more art coming up soon, at least on my end. The most recent thing that I posted of the fellow with the shading took me about 3 days with a few hours each day. So I'm a little bit faster, but I was thinking about it would take May's help since I'm not great at software, but I was thinking about making like speed paint reels and talking over them. And I was thinking I might do something like that for astrology stuff too. Just so people don't come in and be like, oh, what's the stars doing? We finished talking about that half an hour ago. You should have been here. Right. So I was thinking if I did like a speed paint that we recorded and talked over about what the stars are doing, we could have that as like a video. But I don't know. And I'd still be around for things like the other stream, so if you had any clarification questions or anything, you'd be welcome to come ask. But how many fingers do these little fools have? 4. Kara picking up on the tortoise, but I didn't say she's slow with art. She said she's slow with art. I said nothing of the sort. I was simply reporting her self-evaluation. I spent a handful of years just practicing sketching, which I guess has made me fairly quick at it. And she has been working on a fairly large project this whole time, not just focusing on speed things. So, very deliberate, very thorough. She does a very good job. Big eyes. Heck yeah. We love some big eyes. Great choice, Maya. my little feet work though? Here we go. Here we go. Here's a friend. Oh, I did his front feet wrong, but I got his back feet pretty right. I wonder if I can go back and fix those. Little rat friend. Front feet looked like we have. Gonna need a new watercolor palette pretty soon. Mine's looking a little worse for wear. Here, and then his little feet were out here. That makes more sense. Okay, here we go. Let's figure this out. Schrodinger's gator and a big dumpster. I mean, sure, how much do you want for just... We can talk about it. His little arm. Oops, wrong pen. I'm still holding the right pen. Haha. Little arms kind of sticking out right here. Ooh, name for a clown rat. That's a good idea. What are we gonna name the little fella? He's just a guy. Flop is a good name. Ninja Turtle rats with cute. Yes. You just make a clown, like a love rat series. I have clown love rat here. I'm gonna have emperor love rat later. I have to figure out the other ones to do. Oh no, I'm sorry, honey. Maybe that's your sign that you needed to not right now. Hopefully there'll be a better pair that show up later. I know I spent the better part of 4 or 5 years waiting for a sweater that I knew could be and would eventually be designed like a cardigan. And so I just waited for it, and I waited for it, and I waited for it. And eventually someone did finally have the idea. Oh, hey, hon. Welcome back. We have a love rat clown. Nick was trying to pitch that we should name him. His name could be Friedrich Nietzsche. That's true. There are a lot of options that we could name this little fella. The world is your oyster or your circus, depending on how we want to look at it for this. Huge fan of giving him a very serious name, but also he's a clown. Procrastination is so real. Yeah. Yeah. Circus clown. Yes. What do we name said circus clown? He's just a little fella. Oh, I guess it should be a cat. That's too much. She kind of ran out. Yeah, he was. shading. I could see little thin little shadings up here. I don't know, I'm just kind of freeballing it. Friedrich Hickerbottom. How does that be? Clown behavior. Sun is the Emperor Loverat. Name him Clumsy. Maybe. Clumsy is an option. What was that eye? Oh, that's the pen again. I understand this back. Nietzsche was something. I think it was Philosophy Tube on YouTube that talked about Nietzsche for a while. In a video or two, trying to determine like political alignment based off things that he said. It's a bit of a mess. What really gets me is when people take Machiavelli seriously, because that was a satire. When he says it's better to be ruled by fear, and then you see people like taking him literally, and you're like, that was a joke, guys. Y'all never got far enough to find out what it was about, but no, it was a commentary on something. But I guess if we make a bunch of... Yeah. What we could do, right, would be to make a series of clowns or love rats. We could have the Emperor Love Rat, the Clown Love Rat, and then yes, it is like Maya said, it is just like the Ninja Turtles, except that the Ninja Rats, they're the Love Rats? Ninja Love Rat? I don't know. I'm losing the metaphor, but you see what I mean, though. Like, and each one is named after a really bad, or like a philosopher with really bad takes. Right? So, yeah, we have Nietzsche, we have Dante. I don't know if Dante was so much of a clown or also just desperate. I don't remember. Nietzsche, Dante, Machiavelli. I don't know. But also, like, would we want Machiavelli to be one of the clowns, since he wrote "It's better to be feared than to be loved" as like satire, and it's just the people misunderstanding him. You know? I don't know. But it'd be a series of 4 love rats and or clown rats, and like the Ninja Turtles are all 4 different ninjas, and they are named after Renaissance artists, and these would just be named after philosophers with bad takes. Yeah, Dante definitely made his own fanfiction, right? Like, I realize he was a clown, but was he so much of a philosopher as just desperate for this girl that did not love him back? I don't know. And Sen is the Emperor Love Rat, but this is not the Emperor, this is just a clown. You feel me? That's just a little guy. And also, like, do I want to name him after somebody who had a bad hot take? Like, this little fella can't help it that somebody was a moron. Don't ask any philosopher about women. Nope. Certainly not. butt. I got 4 little hands, 4 little fingers, not 4 hands. I can clean them up later. It's just a little guy. I don't know how to do his whiskers because they're white. All I have is black and my white is really dirty. I'm gonna need a new palette soon. I mean, your odds are pretty good, Nick. At least a few of them. Go with tarot entities. Yeah, that's true. That's true. This little fella right here, Peak Magician. Taking no notes. Little hand right here looks a little more correct, right? Yeah, that looks better. Clown Rat is the Hierophant. Oh, okay, okay. I was going for the Magician, but that works too. The Hierophant's answer is life is a joke, do the funny thing. At least as a Clown Rat. Dogs, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 here. Oh yeah. Magician is a good vibe, yeah. But if it's the Hierophant, I do like the thought of just everything's a joke, do the funny thing. The Fool, yeah, the Fool is a given. Beginning and the end, yeah, yeah. The world would just be a rat king, I guess. Ugh. Oh yeah, that's fair. Rebranded or erased. The world is a rat. I was saying, like, if it was a rat tarot deck, the world would be a rat king, right? Like, just all of the rats all stuck together. Cat testimony. See, and to hear the Smashing Pumpkins tell it the world is a vampire, but we know. We know better now. I didn't even see that. The world of it. Yeah, yeah, you got me. You got me. Oh yeah? Okay. I trust. Plot twist is I'm not even that fond of the Smashing Pumpkins. Like, I like the ideas of what they did musically, but I don't like his voice. I could do an Anne Rice themed tarot deck and make the World Akasha though. That would make a lot of sense if we wanted to go with that metaphor. Yeah, I like that. There you go with Lady Lapine knowing me a little too well. I wonder, that would be fun. A whole deck that's just based off of musical references. That'd take a lot of work, but it could be fun. I mean, they should join the Discord. Ooh, I'm glitching out. Ooh, there we go. Okay, that's better. We'll figure that out soon. Promise, guys. For now, we have the Mercury in retrograde as an excuse. That's an excuse. But yeah, we've got the Discord. Gotta get in on the ground floor. Miss May and Lady Lapine are coming up on their first full year of doing this. So. And we started off kind of slow, but and then side eye. I mean, I already sent both Sun and Lady Lapine a screenshot of Lady Lapine of Miss May glitching out. So theoretically, while this lasts, we should have a couple of Wolfgang von Rat. Couple of solid emoji options, but you are not obligated, Sin. It sounds like you've had a heck of a weekend, so put yourself first. If there are happy things for you to work on that help you relax, that is one thing, but love rat. Yeah, making the tarot deck. Yeah. Hands for criminal activities. Criminal fingers. You're welcome. You're welcome. I've given you ample music references today, though, so you have a whole buffet of options from which to choose. Stand out like an idiot. Ah. Rage against the machine. Have a picnic at the graveyard. Bring a blanket. Find a grave that feels like a friend. Have a picnic with them. Patch has got... No, you sit beside the grave and you have a picnic with them. Right? As long as the vibe feels like they'd be fine with it. Ask for spiritual permission before you follow this advice, but seems like it could be fun. I think of more things to do for upcoming art streams. But anyway, we were thinking about, with the channel revamp, I was thinking about like recording little speed paintings and just kind of talking over them for the week and just having like a regular release video. Of course, I would still be available for like chatting and conversation and stuff, but not, I don't know. So that way, like, it's like a 15-minute video of where I'm talking about what's going in the stars and you're watching something happen, whereas I can't do all of that with... I have to talk with my hands. I can't paint. Talk about stars quite at the same time. I don't know. Exactly. You make a friend. You leave them a little offering and you make a friend. Whenever May and I travel places, we like to visit the graveyards. And go say hello to everybody. Go build your supernatural community. I'm doing alright. Welcome in. We're getting towards the last 15 minutes of our stream right now. Talking about astrology and doing some art and coffee chatting. We have gone over the stars for the week, but you can look for a big release of things that you need to let go of control of with the lunar eclipse coming up on Tuesday. I got Mars going into Pisces, which is a little bit slippery, but I think you can leverage it. It's good for community building and figuring out that kind of stuff. Venus is going into Aries. That should help with some of the drive that you might be missing with Mars and Pisces. The big theme for these two and the Mercury retrograde was, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. You might feel compelled to say some things, and the first way you want to say them might be a little rude, but it is worth saying, just politely. There you go. Wouldn't you know it, Nick? There you go. So yeah, there's your summary. Just really sit there with your goals, figure out what serves you to get towards them and what doesn't. And if it doesn't serve you, as far as things that you are being overly controlling of or a situation you are trying to force, let it go. Or refine it so that it works. And you might get a period at some point in the middle of the week with the Mercury Chasm where words kind of where your thoughts kind of align and make a little more sense, which is probably going to be really helpful with how Mercury retrograde kind of makes everything a little bit murky. Go ahead if you have any epiphanies and write them down so that you know what you're doing when you get confused again later. And yeah, big, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Big that, like, you'll need to say something, or you might make friends. You like this summary. Yes, make friends. Wednesday is good for parallel play. So make friends, make plans to do things together but separate on Wednesday. Go hang out. Tuesday is the big eclipse where you might need to let go of something. And then Wednesday is like the recuperation day, and it's a good day to go hang out with people or go try to work on the community and do different things together. Thank you very much. It was just a silly little idea I had in my head. I'm glad that I finally gave him some color. Make friends. Yes. And there's a big make friends underline. Talk to people. Build the community that you want to see in the world. It might be confusing sometimes. When it's confusing, take a little while to think about it and sit with it, but watch your impulse, but it should be fine. Be ready to let go of something that's not working for you anymore. Here's your short summary. Okay, so in Love Shack he says, I've got me a car and it seats about 20. Is it a clown car? That's a van, dude. You're describing a van. Just realizing this now, as that song is also now in my head. Like, no, a car doesn't seat about 20. That's not a car anymore, my guy. Yeah, you take care, Sprinkle. Hope to see you soon. Thank you for hanging out. I appreciate your time. It was good to see you. Keep us posted. I'll be back next week. We've got tarot and art from Miss May on Monday, too, though. So come over anytime. It's always good to see you. I mean, any full moon is going to be. It's a Chrysler. I mean, they are land boats, and I get that, but, like, no. That's a van. He's describing almost a bus. It can if you're loose about... I'm just thinking about the sheer number of bodies. Like, you can fit a lot of people in a car with that loose definition of seats, but like 20, like, I know clown cars, but that's like a joke. Also, like, road safety is worth consideration. Maybe? Maybe. I don't know. Got me a car and it's as big as a whale. It's possible. Yes, I get. I understand the joke. But I don't know, I feel like with a Chrysler, you're like, are they grown people? Are they children? Like, if they're grown, I'm thinking like maybe 10. Safety is optional. Yes, it was the 70s, 80s? It was the 80s. But also, hello? It's about to set sail, though. I guess I can't argue too much. Ten roofs rusted, though. Y'all gotta figure that one out. Now, it could fit 20 love rats. That would be easy. You wouldn't even need a Chrysler for that. I feel like you could stick it in a, I guess for the time, an old Pinto or something, but... You could get a bus. 5 people in the cab of 4. That's still not. If we're talking about the Chrysler seating about 20 on the regular, yes, that's 5 people. Like, but you still have to have room for the person to drive, and I feel like maybe you're looking at 10 at the Chrysler, maybe 12, 20, 20. I don't think so. We can get a bus instead. I agree with Maya. We can get a bus. We'll even make it a Chrysler. I don't know if Chrysler's ever made buses, but you know what? We can just steal the Chrysler logo off of a beat up old defunct car and stick it on a yellow bus. They can open the window soon. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad you were that strong, Nick. Oh Lord, that's terrifying. A bus does sit 20. I agree with Maya. I think if you had a large van and a complete disregard for street road safety, you could do it in a van. I'm fairly sure Chrysler made vans. Let's go from talking about stars to like analyzing the lyrics of Love Shack by the B-52s. Like that was ever supposed to be a song that made much sense. Don't worry about it. This is just my type of stream. Ugh. Yeah, no, I remember those days. 10. Yes. I guess get your kicks where you need to, dude. Did we ever pick out a name for this boy? Get a moving house. Great. I'm loving the way you think, Maya. Uh-oh. 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 Okay. That's right. This does not look like a string bean stuff. Van life. He just does not look like a string bean to me. 10 kids, 1 van. Well, apparently, even if I did name Hugo von Stringbean stuff, it would be Hugo Van Stringbean, apparently, for all of this. 3 kids, 1 van? That sounds wrong. good. Don't worry. What's the name of the guy in the B-52s? Wikipedia. Let's look up. I don't know off the top of my head. I know that album's really good, just across the road, across the board. Rome, good album. Huge fan of Channel Z. What's the name of that guy? Heath? Is that him? Hang on. Ricky Wilson was the original one. Heath Strickland was here. Okay, currently. Gotcha. Yeah, Ricky Wilson had AIDS, that's right. Macbeth McCheese. Fred Schneider. Ooh. Fred Schneider? Oh, I guess so, yeah. Okay, you're right. What's Strickland doing then? He's doing everything, but switched to guitar after Ricky died. Provided backing vocals. Okay. Yeah, I know you have that album. I'd steal it and listen to it front to back. Yes. Like, they are not inherently a goth band, but I was reading something. No, I was watching something on Instagram that was like goth bands that aren't goth but are like honorarily goth, and like you have the obvious ones like Tears for Fears and Duran Duran and stuff, right? But I was like, there are some bands that people just goths tend to just gravitate towards, and at least for me personally, the B-52s is one of them. So, alrighty, my dears, we are at time. I've got stuff to get ready for. I need to actually write up what the week is doing as opposed to slacking off like I did last week. I'll try to get that up today or tomorrow. Let me see what we got. Might actually need it tomorrow. I'll try. He looks a bit mischievous. He does the bit and pushes a bit too far, making me cry. The name should reflect. Yeah, Duran Duran, like Seven and the Ragged Tiger, and like their synthwavy stuff, like the earlier stuff is like honorary goth music. Not really goth, but like honorarily. Have you listened to the Chauffeur stuff? Yes. You know. Also, like, hello. You of all people, I feel like should know this, given your musical and clothing proclivities. So, also release what no longer serves. You're so right, Nick. So, I'm gonna hop off. You know where to find me. There was a few other honorary goth bands. Prince apparently fell into that one. It was just like the moodiness of it all, right? But I feel like the B-52s just still count, at least to me. Anyway, I will see y'all later. Holler if you need me. I'm on the Discord. You know where to find me. And if you need me while we're on a stream and you're not on the Discord, well, you should be on the Discord. But then, secondly, I'm also on Mate streams most of the time, and you can ask me. So, I know you do the... I know. So, one last dice roll. You got it, boss. What's it about? What we got? What are we looking for? Is it just a general vibe check, or you got a specific thing we're looking for? And remember, I have not learned how to interpret dice yet. I just look for the bigger number. I will figure it out eventually. What we got? Snake eyes. 2 5s. And a 4. We'll give it one more flip. Nope, we are not anywhere near Yahtzee. We're close to a full house. Luck. Well, let's look at 5s, 2s, and a 6. So, that we have matching feels fairly lucky, right? And we got the oddball. So, fingers crossed. All right, my dears. I'll see you later. Bye.